Welcome to episode 35 with Fiorella, who is the CEO and founder of Luminy World, also the creator of Code of Being, which is an exclusive men mastermind group focusing on helping high performing men reset, realign, and rise in the age of AI. So, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Jonathan. Yeah, as you were saying that, it just, it felt right. It felt aligned.
Good,
Sure.
good. Well, I'm glad to have you on the show. I know last time we talked, you were focusing on, getting these going, and so I'm so excited to hear how everything's playing out. But let's take it way back first. Where did it all begin for you?
Great question. And it's interesting because when it all began, actually, there was a time where we reconnected. Because I never forget, like you text me at that time, and I was going into the time where I wanted to just, I wouldn't say like isolate, kind of. Um, I think where it all began, to your question, is when I started realizing that every box that I checked was not fulfilling anymore, right? So it was like, yeah, I got the job, got to travel around the world. I get a good salary. Um, But it was a point in time where you just felt like something was missing,
I know
right?
what you mean.
And so you start questioning things. And what was interesting, I think, for me is the events that at that point I saw like a tragedy. It's like, oh my God, this is happening. Why is this happening right now? Like at 30, I had this idea I was supposed to already be married, have kids, and have all these idea that society put so much pressure on. So at that time, my sister actually passed away, broke up with my boyfriend at that time. So I was just like, what? Like, so
Wow, a
it's like
lot.
everything that I strive for, because I am from Peru. I came to this country and I was always very ambitious. Always like, but this time I'm gonna get this done, but this time I'm gonna make such amount of money. And I got it. Like that was no issue for me. But then I just hit the wall and I just decide, after my last relationship 6 years ago, I was like, something is not right here. It seems like relationship wise too. Like I just keep either sabotaging myself or like nothing really works or sticks or is toxic, whatever it is. So I was like, I'm done. Like I just need to focus on me. Perhaps say we sometimes think selfish when you think of you and you want to do what you feel like is right at that moment.
Oh yeah,
And for me at that moment was to spend time with myself. I
that's
didn't know who I
self-discovery, right?
was. Right.
Self-discovery, yeah.
Right. And it's almost like when you where I start realizing it's like I was making so many decisions based on who I was not, like what my parents or society told me I should be. And then so I wasn't being really authentic. Like, so at that point in time, it's like, no, I need to understand, like, I need to get to know me so I get to love me, right? Because as far as relationships, sometimes we go because I need someone to love me because there's not
Yes.
enough to give to ourselves. So how can you, I always say this, right? When you have a partner, you cannot love someone if you don't know that person. So if you don't know yourself, how can you love yourself? How can you trust yourself?
That's true. Very true. Your decision making, if you don't know who you are, you're not going to make the best decisions for
Yeah.
yourself. Everything.
It's gonna be based on decision so logical, so trapped in this world of performing and you need to achieve certain things, and it's so much pressure, right? So you're almost like a prisoner of your own world. We think that way, right?
It's true.
We sometimes, what I see it is like, yeah, it's so pretty, but I'm still prisoner of my thoughts. I'm still prisoner of this idea of what life should look like.
Definitely.
Right. So
Oh
for
yeah.
me, it's like, I even told my friends, don't worry. I didn't go to the Himalayas, but I stay at that time. I had my own apartment, so it was time for my own. So I would wake up every weekend, right? It's like, what do I want to do? So it was just so much time with myself. I'm not saying it was easy. It was hard. I went 1 year celibate, so no really nothing. Like it was just me,
That's
right? Let's
good. Yeah.
face me, like
Good.
face my demons. People
Wh-
say.
What did
And
you do? Like your first steps to start kind of digging deep?
I started exploring. So I started with this mindset of curiosity, of allowing things to come. Like I felt these is what is the word that I want to use? I felt this thrive. Like I just wanted to read, to listen. So I felt like a kid who was just dropped into like these, I don't know, like puzzle world. Like it's like, oh my God, let me exploration, Fiorella like the explorer or something.
Right.
So I started reading that year. I read like 100 books. I went like
Oh,
over 20 podcasts. Like I was had so much time to like do me,
that's
right?
good. Yeah.
I was going to therapy, like eventually I got a life coach myself, like went to retreats. I started exploring different arenas. I'm from Peru, so I tried, I actually did ayahuasca as well.
Oh, I've got some
It's not
questions
for
about that
everyone.
later.
It's not for everyone, but it was a calling for me, right? What I call it preparation. So I understood, I also put myself like in as the observant, being aware is like, okay, I'm gonna observe myself. I'm gonna be intentional with everything. Like even like as far as like a conversation of a meeting, if someone wants to meet with myself, I would ask myself like, is this why am I doing this? Because again, if we go back, we are so programmed to be in autopilot that
Yes,
you don't realize that you're wasting time and energy in places and doing things that are not aligned to who you truly are.
that's true.
And in 10 years by it's like, oh, what did I do with my life?
And time flies
Right.
too. Time flies.
And I was so fortunate to have mentors, to come across so many different people, different cultures, and I just became like a child again, questioning everything. The quality of your life depends on the quality of your questions. And it's like,
I like that.
yeah, right? And
I
if
like
you
that.
don't know, it's like creating that space to ask questions that never been asked. And like, is this belief my belief or somebody programmed it? Right? I always think about we are entering an era of AI. And what I like to compare it is upgrading our inner tech, our inner operating system. It's like as AI starts, going faster and being more efficient and all that, like what are we doing for ourselves? Like how are we going to differentiate ourselves for something that is just far away, smarter and faster than we are?
That's true. Well, I like that. Everybody should take initiative to develop themselves, self-awareness, self-discovery, self-awareness, the actualization. I like that.
And if we put it in a word like emotional intelligence, that's going to be like such an important trait to master, right? Because even like I read this, it's like the leaders of the future are going to be those master emotional intelligence. Because otherwise, we're going to be swept away, by all these chaos. Because trust me, in the industrial revolution we had 10 years to adapt. Like
Oh
that's not
yeah,
going to happen now. It's like in a matter of 2 5 years AI is going to be in our, not just in how we are more efficient with our work, but how we live our lives.
oh yeah. It's
So
changing so fast.
So is for me, I was so fortunate to kind of awaken, lack of a better word, like be more conscious of where I'm going,
I see.
right? Because I asked people, and this it was just odd to me. I had mentors, who were, what is your 10-year plan, your 25-year, like your I always say we overestimate what we can do in 1 year, but we underestimate what we can do in 10.
Interesting.
A decade, right? A decade. So much that can be done in a decade. So if we think about it, how I have everything planned is like, okay, this is my vision for 10 years. What is my vision in 5, 3, and 1? So what do I have to get in 1 year to get me closer to the 3, to the 5, to the 10,
Yes, the micro
right?
steps.
Yeah, and again, it may change on the way. It doesn't have to be so static and structured, but at least is having that vision of where you're heading. And we go back again. It's like, why do I need to get to know myself? Well, if you don't know who you are, what you want,
The foundation.
you can go as fast as a Ferrari, but you're going to go in loops. And 10 years is going to go by, and it's like, oh, I ran out of gas.
Yeah. Like a boat just drifting in the ocean, no destination.
It's like, yeah, I can have
That's
the,
true.
the best car ever. But if the driver of that car have no clue where it's going, guess what? Like, you're gonna run out of gas, and the car is just won't go anywhere anymore, right? So it's when I ask people, so what do you want? They don't know, like, oh, what is your vision in 10 years? Oh, I don't know. It's like we don't know. We're so lost.
So focused on the external entertainment and distractions and not the internal. It's,
Exactly.
yes.
Exactly. Because I always say, like when we are, I always say we put busyness, like I'm busy, like it's a badge of worth, right?
It's
It's like
trending
they're
today.
saying I'm busy, I'm worth it. That's what is behind what's happening, right? And
Yeah.
saying, and another one is productivity. Sometimes productivity is just avoidance dressed in professionalism,
Interesting. No, that's a good point. That's
right?
true.
Because we we have been told by this ego and false self, what I want to call it, that stillness, it's a waste of time. Pausing is just, what are you doing? Like, you need to go faster. You need to go faster. You need to perform.
The
You know,
hustle culture.
those are the voices. And when I work with men, it's just so interesting because one of them, he have achieved the 7 figures. He moved from New York, and he just was in a spot where he just needed to pause, and he felt so guilty. It's like, I feel guilty because we haven't been taught, like, actually presence is power.
Presence is power. The present moment.
The presence, like having that moment where you get to sit with yourself,
Absolutely.
right? And why? Because when you get to understand and feel that experience of what it is to live and exist in this world without having to prove your worth, when you realize that just by existing, you don't need to earn something. Like, you're just are, is the being. And
That's,
being is not the pause between doing. Being is the foundation of life itself.
that's powerful. I love that. Because if you're always in hustle mode with the hustle culture and grinding, you never have a chance to really look internally. and listen to
Correct.
your heart and figure out who you are and your purpose. I like that. That's a good point.
And again, with men, we think about like you guys drive like in testosterone, right? So it's so easy and it becomes a superpower to suppress pain and like must like cover up with more work, more hustle. So it's just covering up something, what is beneath under that. But then 10 years later, you're frustrated, unhappy, relationships, are broken. Why? People fall into freaking addiction. Again, because you're operating from a place of that is not who your authentic self is what lie and like society told you this is success.
Oh
I
yeah.
guess we should really find what success means, right? That's
Yeah,
another topic. But again, I think when I love what this kind of man said, like it's almost like he also was missing the fire. He's like something is not there. It's like I'm missing this fire. Like what it drove me before, like I don't have it.
like the purpose.
Yeah,
Ah,
kind of
okay.
like why. And again, yeah, right. With men, like it's so easy to suppress, but why? What if it would be so different? Like if we can work and create, and of course, money is the byproduct of everything you do. But the reason why you're doing it now is completely different. But it's
Definitely.
coming from a deeper purpose, right? Coming,
Yeah.
like he says, like waking up like every day is Christmas morning when you're excited to get to do your job because it's not even job, like it's just so aligned to who you are. Again, we go back, why we have to take time is not adding more time to find, is returning to yourself,
I
is
like that. Yeah.
healing off the idea of who you should be, who you are before someone and society told you who you should be.
Yeah. Stripping
Because
everything away.
when you align with that, then your work, the creation that you put out of the world, the work that you do, then it becomes aligned. And when it's aligned, it's effortless.
That
And you
makes
don't feel you
sense.
can work 20 hours, but it feels flawless, it feels aligned, and it feels exciting. It feels alive.
That
There's
makes
one
sense.
quote that I love that says, "Don't ask what the world needs, ask what makes you come fully alive, because what the world needs is people who have come fully alive."
That is powerful because if we all lived our authentic lives and brought our unique gift to the world would be a beautiful place. That's so true. So
Exactly.
so powerful. So you just to understand, so you you had a life-changing moment where you decided to dig deep, figure out who you were. You saw how beautiful the process was and started to follow your heart and everything started to unfold. And then you found that passion for helping others to do the same thing. And then you recognize the need for starting with men uh, for helping them discover their purpose and look within. What other things motivated you to
Actually,
start your business?
yeah, actually, it's interesting you mentioned that because when I look back, again, is I'm a student of life. And if we want to think it in terms of going to the university, getting your master's, getting your whatever, like going up a step, is the same thing with us and like getting to evolve and to grow. I mean, one of my values is growth. Very clear what my values are, and I stand for those. So growth has been one of my core values, is understanding, okay, this everything that I have gone through, because it has been the toughest journey of my life. And again, because when you decide to start this journey, is you saying I'm open to anything. good, bad, whatever we want to put it. It's not even bad, it's just experiences. But when you're committed to your growth, growth is not like, oh, okay, I'm gonna decide to grow. No, like life will throw you things. So you fall and you have to get up and you fall again and you fall again. The idea is not to quit. And you build courage and resilience on the way. And so for me was so different. And when I think about it, again, before even to do what I'm doing now, what I'm focusing now, it has evolved because I did start first coaching and I come from an accounting and finance purpose. I was an auditor for 10 years, right? So everything was numbers and logic. And they
Yeah.
completely strip away who I thought I was that that transition itself was, oh my goodness, the most difficult one I had. And it
Yeah.
has taken many years.
A lot of people label themselves with their career. They have so much association. They identify as their career.
Because we think we are our careers, right? So in Japan, when people get fired, they get suicide. They kill themselves because they're like, who am I now without my career? And so that's again, society has told us that we identify with how much money we have, how much success we have. But again, that outside is not the problem. The problem is not like, oh, I have money or yeah, those are great things, but where they're coming from this need to rush and need to perform and and like we create this anxiety, but it's coming from calmness.
Yeah. Living in alignment and then having the same benefit, but being true to yourself, following your heart.
Exactly. And that's easy said than done because people are going to question you. Your parents, friends, everybody's like, "Why are you crazy?" So you have to, it's a very lonely path, I have to
Yes.
say. It's a very lonely path. And you have to have the courage to do it because it's easy. It's easy to just be in a comfort zone and staying into your comfort, beautiful, whatever life, but you're also prisoner of that.
That's powerful right there. Wow. It's easy, but it's also at the same time. That comfort zone is a prison. Wow.
Exactly.
I like
Because
that.
when I see it, when you then realize that you're not only that, but there's deeper, something deeper, a connection, we're vessels, of this magical force. And it's just that when we touch that, when I touched that, I was like, whoa, it's like presence. And when I mean presence is being still with yourself and being okay with just existing is enough. And that becomes true power, not because that power that controls you, but a power that liberates you.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. And most people
Is
never want to dig down and deal with the demons and, you know, the discovery side.
when you go through it, it's like walking through fire. Then what's on the other side supposed become the oasis. But you gotta go through the desert. We all wanted, oh, well, I have this vision, let me get there faster, because we all like driving like everything by tomorrow. Like, and it's not like that. Aliveness is not something that you achieve, it's something you return to. Again, it's not, we're not adding more things, we're just deleting distractions
Oh
and
yeah.
putting yourself in a container where it's like, this is so uncomfortable, but it's so needed. Like, I went through so much uncomfortable that it almost becomes comfortable. It's like, oh, I'm going through uncomfort, but that's the way I grow. But again, I go back to, because I know where my core values are. What are your
Yes.
core values? Like that's what you need to ask yourself. Like, I'm saying I'm busy, but are those tasks that you're completing are aligned with your soul's assignment? Like, oh, when you just came to check a to-do list, is that what all your life is about? You gotta ask yourself. I always say, like, that productivity. or that performance, how much of that is comes from clarity and truth, and how much of that comes from fear?
Yeah, fear base. That's a good point. That's
Fear.
yes,
Fear is, I always say, it's a coin. One side of the coin is fear, the other side of the coin is love.
opposites.
And fear dressed up in different ways, but we don't know it, right? It's the fear of like, I'm not enough, so I need to perform more. Like I'm gonna fall behind, so I need to go faster. So it's all these fears driving our lives without even realizing it. So we're being, I don't want to say puppets, but like when you don't know who you are, you're gonna be like, fear is gonna have control over you.
Terrible
Period.
place to be living your life in fear with that fear mentality. You're so right. That's so powerful. The way you're putting it, it just makes sense.
So many people like have held back their dreams, have not been able to be with the person they love because of fear of their own light. That's something that I had to overcome, like fear of my own light. It's not even a fear, it's fear because we were asked to play small, we asked, we it's just that fear,
Afraid to shine too bright and stand out.
right, to stand out for what you believe. But that's again the most liberating thing. And some of us have that calling, like for me it's not about fixing, it's just to remember, it's just to be a mirror. Like I'm just a mirror of like the greatness that is inside you. You just need to see it because it's buried underneath. And yeah.
I love that. No, it's very well said because most people never think about this. They're just living their lives, like you said, autopilot. And you're right. I feel like this should be taught in school, as kids, self-awareness, self-discovery, self-awareness, self-actualization, digging deep, establishing values, principles. And so I love what you're putting together. And I'm working on something with the wellness side, like we talked about, because yeah, people need it. People need it. I wanted to ask you though, with your business, I know that was your inspiration. What are the biggest things you think men need to learn with what you help them with?
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned that because I know your first question was like how that all came together. And as I went through my years of coaching and hypnotherapy and certified hypnotherapist too, so it's like I worked a lot with like reprogramming of the nervous system. I'm a breathwork coach too, so it was a lot to rebalance the nerve, realign the nervous system, because the nervous system again is part of who we are. Like it just is how we experience life. If our nervous system is out of whack, biologically speaking and scientifically speaking, then our anxiety, that's what as a society we're so anxious because we're not breathing properly. Our breath controls the autonomic nervous system, the sympathetic nervous system, and the parasympathetic. The sympathetic is let's go, fight and flight, and the other one is rest and digest. What happened nowadays is that we have more focus on the sympathetic. We're like 80-20. And so when that happens, we are more propense to anxiety, to depression. Like if we realign and have the tools to breathe properly, a lot of those things would be reduced dramatically.
I
And they're
see.
also work for releasing emotions. So throughout my journey, I start educating myself in different levels, practicing. I work with men and women. That was kind of like something I just put it out there. And eventually this new calling found me. Like I wasn't even looking for it. And how it found me was through men that I came across, and they were kind of my catalyst to realize, whoa, like I know a big part of my journey was healing, integrating the feminine, because as we know, like the masculine, we all have masculine and feminine energy. And we live in a society that is mostly masculine energy, right? The control, chasing, like, and so I had to come again because my dad was very much like that. So that's how I took over, and it was very logical. I was very like hustle, grind, get it done. And so I really came very connected with like men and how they are. And for me, it was so hard to integrate the feminine because I saw it as weakness.
Ah, I see.
Right? So
I
for me, it
see.
was a big, big journey of integrating both. And when I was sitting and this, eventually in my career, like I started noticing how much like men struggle so much with navigating those emotions because they're told not to feel because it's a weakness again.
Oh yeah.
So when I became almost like felt this wholeness, return to myself, it's almost like I felt this calling to hold the space for the awakening of men. And
I
what I
see.
mean by that is to create a sacred space to, again, integrate both. Because what's happening right now, and I had one interview because I was doing this research, I'm still doing this research project called 50 Cups of Coffee. I was interviewing men, and one of them is going through a breakup, and he has it everything, right? He's like, I reached this, this age already, and I want a family, but there's a big but, right? He can hold, a lot of men, if they don't even know how to navigate their emotions, they can hold capacity to hold women's emotions because we're
Good point.
feminine energy, so full emotions, and there's an amazing book. I don't know if you read it, the Way of the Superior Man, which is kind of the Bible for men. I love it, and it talks about it. Right, is the relationship you have with your mind is also because the mind is, if anything, imagine feminine is nature, everything that flows.
The balance.
Yeah, like the feminine. If we think about the feminine
Oh, the feminine is flowing.
the feminine
Yes.
energy, not like the physical, but the
I
feminine
see.
energy is everything that moves.
Yeah, free flowing,
Free flowing
free.
nature, weather. Think about that way. Our thoughts are constantly moving, our mind is constantly moving. So that's feminine energy too. And so when we are, the relationship we have with our own thoughts and with our being is also the relationship that we have with our women, right?
It's a good
So
point.
again, if we are not clear of who we are, again, everything is like all your reality comes from inside, right?
Oh
Everything
yeah,
that you need to work is going to come up. It's cause and effect at the end of the day.
that's true. It's interesting because I noticed what you're saying. I throughout my entire life, I've different friends that are guys, but one group is for working out, one is because it depends on what area, what you have in common with
Of
them.
course.
But one commonality is majority, like 90% don't want to have deep conversations. It's
No,
just
it's
focused on
uncomfortable.
external. Yeah, but it's
It's
more
being
common.
vulnerable.
Yeah, but I noticed with women, it's the opposite. It was like I could have deeper conversations more often. It's still not very common, but let's say like with women, I could have deeper conversations like maybe 70% of the time. With guys, it was like 20, let's say. Bad examples of numbers, but um, it's interesting. Yeah, they didn't want to have any deep conversations. It was more so just focused on the now, the present, what's going on.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
it's when you don't know how to navigate something, again, it's almost the insecurity comes up. You don't want to feel that. Like, I don't want to feel insecure, right? Because my ego says, just bury it. It's easier. Like, that's it. It's all about, proving and performing. And here I am, and I have all my shit together. So, excuse my French. And it's just like, no, like, really? Like, it's time to really face. Like, I wouldn't even say like we're entering into the age of AI. Whether we want or not, actually, AI is a feminine energy.
I never thought
That's
about that, but that's
what
a good point because it's free flowing. It's
he's
kind of
he's creative, so a lot of men
communication.
gravitate towards AI.
Interesting. Huh. I never thought about it, but you're right because it's free flowing and communicative, all about communication and curiosity. Huh.
It's a lot
Interesting.
of that energy, and so a lot of men I always call like, and the ones I'm surrounded by, they're all building some sort of AI. They're founders in tech, and I love it. Like they're architects, right? But then they also, my main purpose too is to make sure that they don't lose their humanity and that they're creating from a place again that is authentic. Because if they create, if they put out there everything that they're building in AI from that place, from that emotional intelligence, then we can really do something from what's to come, because we can't run away from it. Like, it's happening. AI is going
Yes,
to be part of our lives, whether we want it or not, we want to deny it or not.
that's true.
It's like, what are you going to do now? Because otherwise, 2 years come and you're like, we should, like, what am it's gonna be a crisis. Like, it really will, it's gonna be like, and I'm even scared of like for a lot of people like who have not yet jumped in the train.
Oh yeah, who haven't started using ChatGPT yet or Grok? It's like it's advancing so quickly. It does kind of scare me
My
for them as well.
mentor, who actually he has an CEO of like an AI agency and marketing and whatnot, and they educate on AI, and he's just very deep in his like, I love how the way he puts it. He says, right now, ChatGPT, I mean, and we think AI is ChatGPT, but it's like 2% of what AI is. And interesting enough, like he says, right now, ChatGPT is just a baby. Like, it's just a kid. Years pass. It's gonna become a teenager and adult and then forget it. Like,
I can't imagine how the information it's going to have and what its capabilities are going to be in 5 years. Crazy,
I mean, if
crazy.
we educational level, I mean, I already seen a lot of schools, not sure here, but in Europe, I know a lot of mothers who have their kids in schools where everything is different. Like the curriculum is different, it's more towards emotional intelligence,
Really?
it's just very different. Yeah. And
Wow.
it's gonna become a trend, because now you are gonna be taught how to be analytical, how to think through things. Like,
Good, good.
again, education, when we think of edu, comes from the Latin let out, and nothing has been laid out, everything has been put in, like we have been, it's like math is not going to help me if somebody dies, like.
You're right.
And right now
Life
AI,
skills.
I mean, you can, like, right now I feel like, like you're teaching like how to calculate this to kid, like it's going to become irrelevant.
Oh yeah, I
You
use
know
it for
what I mean?
everything
Like,
already.
what are we doing? Like, right now, we should focusing on what kids and what education should be, so they are prepared for what's to come.
I agree. Yeah, the world's changing too quickly. I
And
agree.
men, I mean, most than anything, like they're becoming. There's a lot of suicides, a lot of addiction, because again, most men, as far as research, most men, kill themselves because they don't know how to navigate emotions. And again, emotional intelligence is going to be something so critical at this point in time. If we don't jump into that train, we're going to be in serious trouble.
I completely agree. And that reminds me, I wanted to ask you, when you did the ayahuasca ceremony, I know a lot of people are going to be curious about that. Uh, what was that like? Did you go to Peru?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it
And
was a calling. So I was in Costa Rica and I felt kind of this voice like, oh, go to. I was going to do it there. It was so weird because I ended up meeting people who did it without me even searching for it. It was just like I went to Costa Rica 1 month. I didn't know anyone. I just jump into things, right? It's like, okay. And I start meeting people who did ayahuasca. And it's like, what is this about? And they start teaching me, so they start like telling me their experience. And I'm like, okay. Because there was a lot of curiosity for me, but it took many years because I was afraid of it. And I was like, I don't know. And then eventually I started meeting with them and I was like, oh, okay, that sounds cool. Like, but then I hear this voice, go to your motherland, go to your motherland. I'm like, God, okay. So I came back to Florida, and 2 weeks later, I received a call from this girl that I know in Peru. She's a yoga instructor, and she was hosting retreat with a breathwork coach. And she invited me to the retreat, and I couldn't go those dates. Again, I left it to God, the universe, whatever you want to call it. Like I was just like, if this is meant to be as part of my preparation, because everything is preparation. Anything that we think bad happens, nothing happens to us, everything happens for us.
I love that phrase. I've heard that
Until
phrase
you
before.
don't
So
learn the
true.
lesson, you're gonna keep repeating the same. And life is gonna keep sending you the same way until you learn it. Until you learn it, okay, we can go on. So part of my preparation, as part of the work that I do now, and I didn't know at that time, but it was just liberating, like kind of releasing a lot of past traumas or
I see.
doubts or fear. I think the biggest again, fear. So when I told her I couldn't go to the retreat, she's like, oh, okay, like anyhow, 3 weeks later, 1 month later, she messaged me. Oh, it was 3 weeks later. I don't know exactly the time. And she's like, oh, there was like a weather thing and we had to move it. So I was like, okay, life is
No
telling me
way.
I gotta do it.
It
So
just
I was
happened
like,
to move to dates that you could
yeah,
do.
so that date I could. So I said, okay. And I asked her, hey, do you know someone who can trust to do ayahuasca? She's like, I know someone who can guide you to that person. And actually the retreat that we're doing is gonna be beautiful. Like it's gonna help you transition easy into ayahuasca because there's a whole preparation even to do ayahuasca
Yeah,
energetically. So it's a lot. It's not just, oh, let me do it and like just jump to it. It's discipline.
so is it like almost like some prerequisite stuff that they give you, or
Yeah, yeah. Like as far as food,
okay,
pork, like avoiding pork, avoiding certain things. Like try to keep very clean diet,
okay,
whatever works. I
plant
mean,
based mostly.
ideally, I'm not a vegan, but like as much as less meat because a lot of meat has a lot of energy too. So it's like you
Ah,
gotta remove a lot of the energy that is you put in your body. So I get the very like I did mostly like fish, very light, no alcohol. So for 3 months before, no
whoa,
alcohol.
3 months before you had the
Now
prep.
you could do it weeks before, but I'm
Okay,
just over. Like I
overachiever.
like to be very.
I see.
So 3 weeks, I for me was okay. Like I don't drink much, so for me it was like, oh, whatever. I don't. It's easy
Yeah,
on the part. And then sex, of course, right? You cannot have sex because again, it's energy.
that makes sense.
But that time I wasn't. I was celibate, so everything just aligned beautifully. So I ended up going. The retreat was amazing. Food, I mean, it was just heaven. And then after that, the ayahuasca. Actually, a friend that I met in Costa Rica flew from Costa Rica to here. He's American. We did it together. And I always recommend, and this is something like to take into account based on what I learned, do not ever do it with a lot of people. Like try to
Okay.
keep it less than 10.
And when you take, I'm curious, when you take ayahuasca, does it like what goes on in your mind and your body? Like whatever detail you want to give.
Yes.
I'm just
So
curious.
I'm just trying to think the best like way to put it that could, people understand. I mean, it's somebody put it this way. Imagine like when you go to meditation, it's like drinking a shot of, I don't know, tequila. don't want to compare it to that, but like doing ayahuasca is like drinking, I don't know, 100. But what happened is really, and I probably it's a bad comparison, but I just love how he put it. You pretty much, if we think about neuroscience, what ayahuasca does is kind of close your prefrontal cortex, the logic, the understanding, the ego, and connects you with the part of your brain that is connected to your emotions.
Interesting. So it allows you to get out the um
Ego.
I see. To not hold back and just dive in.
Yes.
I see.
So for me it was interesting because the first thing that came when I was sitting there and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this, but I felt right. That was my sign. It felt right. So I drank it. It was only like five of us, four of us. And I remember clearly I was so comparing myself because everybody was puking. Usually that's because that's what happens. And the puke is because you're cleansing,
I
because
see.
when you drink the beverage, the ayahuasca, what's happening is this. I always say like ayahuasca is like a wise person that reincarnated in a plant. So it goes inside you. So whatever energy, that's what you do the diet before. Whatever is not in alignment, you energetically are gonna puke it, release
I
it.
see. I've heard that, yeah, it
Yeah. So
causes
for me it
a
was very
cleanse.
different because I didn't puke. So for me it was like, why am I not puking? Why am I not puking? It's like again this
Yeah.
mindset of like, why am I not puking? So until like the shaman, because it was a ceremony. This is like a ceremony, and his assistant was like, just let go. The mind wants to control everything. The ego is like, I want to control everything. Nope.
Yeah, yeah.
Let it go. Let it go. So in that moment, I just again every journey for everyone is different. In my case, because I lost my sister, I was reunited with her. There were a lot of questions. It was a beautiful experience.
Good, good.
I did it twice, so that was one, and then months later I did another one, which wasn't planned, but I felt the calling again. So in this one, it was interesting because I noticed how it is to be. It's like this. It was like more like an out of body experience, believe it or not. Like until this day, when I think about it, I get the goosebumps because I was so happy. Like in that moment, I felt like I just could see myself outside of me. Like it
Hmm,
was just weird.
interesting.
Um, and I just could see this earth and like how we think like in society, like so small. Like we are connected with such a big source with love, and it's just like we are trapped in the matrix, that
The rat race,
the
yeah, what
rat
society,
race,
I
the
know what you mean.
the achieving. Like tomorrow you may die and you're not taking anything with you. The only thing you take is the relationship with yourself, relationship with your source, with God, with the biggest who created you, right? Like it's just so I became so connected with it. It's almost like I don't want to say enlightenment, but there was a moment in time where I was just not even thinking about what happened before or after. I was just now.
It's
And
amazing.
it feels so peaceful.
Yeah, we're too focused on the wrong things as a society.
We're programmed. So again, if we think about ayahuasca, it takes you out from that programming. That's it.
Interesting.
It's just a programming, right? It's like,
Hmm.
ooh,
I'm gonna keep that in mind. That I've heard different things similar to your story, how it just changes people's mindsets. They changes perspectives. That's powerful.
Now that we talk about this, something that it comes to mind is if we compare it to, imagine you have a laptop, right? And back in the day, I mean, now we have Wi-Fi, but before we have to connect it to something. Again, if we think about life and how society has programmed us the way it does in default and autopilot is like running a 90s computer, and you're never connected to wireless.
I see. I see.
You know
Out
what
of
I
date.
mean? It's like
Yeah.
connected. Connect to source, connect the wireless,
It's
and
like a
you're gonna chip, you're gonna go to like what is really
like a software update, basically.
is that flow like. And I don't
Yeah.
want to say it even addictive, but it's just when you go back and return to yourself, you understand like the meaning. Because we confuse motion with meaning and activity with aliveness.
So true. So
We
true.
go, we go, oh, I'm doing. 10 years by, it's like, that did it have any meaning? What are you doing this? Like, why are you doing this? Be intentional.
That's
Be
true.
intentional. I think that's for me, even when I started 6 years ago, I was intentional. Like, why am I doing this? Why am I going to this meeting, to this networking event? Why am I meeting with this person? Why am I meeting? Is being clear how you want to spend your life. Like, how do you want to live your life?
That's true. No, yeah. It's people need to sit down and they need to really sit with themselves and go through the entire process to figure that out. Otherwise, they're just busy flying through life, hamster on a wheel, not living the life that they want, not giving the impact. I feel like what you said earlier, everyone has their own gifts. Like we're here, we're all fundamentally different. We all have our own gifts for a reason. We're supposed to take responsibility, dive in deep, figure it out, and then pursue it. And so if we don't do that, it's like everything you were saying, so powerful. Um, I was gonna ask if you could go back with everything you know now. If you can go back 15 years and tell your younger self a piece of advice, what would you say?
That's a great question. Don't care about what anybody thinks. I mean, trust, trust your inner wisdom, listen to that voice, follow your heart. It's almost like telling my little self, remove that noise, that distraction, and reconnect with yourself. Understand who you are, what are your values, and why are you here. Believe it. You came here with a purpose. You have a purpose. Life, society tells you no, but trust in yourself. Trust and don't think, because a lot of times self doubt is your biggest enemy. Not anybody out there, but yourself. You are your biggest enemy when it comes to self doubt. When you conquer self doubt, you become limitless and you become whoever you want to be. You create, little girl, you create your own reality. You can have anything you want, you deserve it all. You don't need to earn it. You already are love because you exist.
I like that.
That's it.
I like that. What would you say is the, a challenge that you overcame or something that made you realize that you were capable? What you just said, that you didn't have to prove it, but kind of instilled that confidence in yourself. Was there something, a turning point?
I think it was the compounding of everything. It's not one point. That's what I always call, like, and I have in my methodology the 3 R's, right? Reset, realign, and rise.
I see.
These are like 3 R's that are always evolving because we are not linear human beings. We're
True.
a process if we think about it. Everything that we experience, everything that we when we have an insight, like even right now in in this conversation, I most likely am receiving something, you're receiving something that then is going to be used. So we don't, it's just a constant movement. It's life force, feminine, again, it's all. And so for me, when I look back, it's just like every mistake, quote unquote mistake, every moments of doubts, moments where I wanted to quit, moments of, there was a moment in times like, I don't know why am I even here? My life is not worth it. Questioning everything, being lonely, feeling defeated, feeling like I don't understand anything. So it's not such a straight line, but when you little by little overcome all of that, you start building resilience, courage, and that just is it's almost like you're transmuting, right? You're embodying that now, but you gotta live it. You gotta go through it to become it.
That
It's
makes
almost like as
sense.
you grow, like all these parts of you like peel away, and it's not, again, it's not like, yeah, there's gonna be a point in time where everything is going like, oh, I could see clearly, but because it took many years. And if we look at nature, right, the moon doesn't worry that needs to be seen. The ocean doesn't chase, you know, anything. Like the trees, they don't hurry, like, oh, I need to grow. No, they just do. Right?
Mm.
It's everything. If we look around, nature's our biggest teacher because it teaches us that everything, like we are also
Ebbs and
part of it.
flows.
We're part of it, right? If we connect more with our being, then we know that we can find safety on that because we don't need to run anymore. We keep running, escaping from it. When you return, it's like we confuse buzz with bliss.
Hmm.
And so in this moment, when you arrive and are present and connect with that, as I go through all these processes and all these overcomings and difficulties, times where I wanted to quit and whatnot, I think that's what gave me, it made me be who I am now, or made me return to myself and see myself clearly, right? So when you look at the
Yeah,
mirror and the mirror is with dust, you don't see yourself. But when you remove the dust, so for me, it was removing the dust.
I see. No, that makes sense. Everything you're saying, it makes perfect sense, and I like the examples that you give. It really provides different perspective, and everybody needs this. Everybody needs to, take time to just dig deep, take away all the distractions. What do you think? Uh,
Is it our responsibility? I should even say that. It's not even an option.
that's true.
It's not even at this point that we are going, and AI speeding the way it's speeding is a responsibility. It's just so easy to blame everyone. Oh, I'm
Yeah,
like this because of that person. Oh, I'm like this because
and you
my
hear it all the
boyfriend, my
time.
husband, my parents.
The
No,
victim mentality.
take responsibility. 95% believe in a victim state. Let's
Yes.
remove that and own freaking everything.
T-
That's hard. That is hard.
taking
Being
ownership.
vulnerable is just biggest superpower. Taking responsibility takes courage because now everything falls on you. It's so
Yeah,
easy to say,
yeah.
"Well, this therefore I'm like the way I am because of that person."
Victim mentality. Yeah, making ourselves the victim. It's true. Taking ownership, you have the power back and the responsibility. The responsibility first, and then the power. That's true. Huh. What would you say, based on everything you said, for since you're focusing on men for now? What would you say is the first step for them? Like, what do you think they should do as like a first step to kind of break this cycle?
Reset. And I'll
Reset.
explain more on
The
that and
three
expand more
R's.
on that. Actually, I'm going to be hosting a free 1 hour mastermind for men. I'll share with you the link.
Yeah, let me know.
Yes. So it's going to be, again, for high performing men who are in this age, the age where, like, I hustle, I grind, I have the business. I just need more clarity of where is next in my path, other relationships, career. So, what I mean by reset, because it's one of my first R's, and the reason why it came out, because it's the first step. It's like you don't know, you cannot know where you're heading if you don't know where you are right now. The first step is awareness. 101. Like the first step, awareness. That's kind of like, okay, I'm gonna open the door, like I am not just this body and these achievements and this job and this task and a role. No, I'm more than that. But like, how do I discover that? Again, is having awareness. That's the first
Okay.
step. And like awareness and what we call reset is to extrapolate, like it's almost like a reset through, again, I use somatic tools like breath work and things like that to kind of you gotta, if we have a glass, like
Shake it up a little bit.
shake it, shake it and see what comes. It's like
Ah,
almost like a
yeah.
reset
I see. As the
to see
dust
where you
settles,
are
as
right
the
now. And then from there, and that on its own is a whole space, because it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of courage, to accept and to be take responsibility again, right? To be like, this is where am I?
I
This
see.
is where I'm at right now. And then from there, let's walk the walk to then align and create a life that is just more is authentic, a life that is really aligned with your core values, with who you are, what you want to create, what you want to build. You are someone who is like creating in an AI world. Amazing. Where are you coming from? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
do
I know
you
what you
want
mean.
to continue to the burnout and the grind and the hustle, or you want to create from a place of joy and fun? Like, again, we're not removing the word like, oh, just be present and flow and like don't work. I'm not saying that. Like, it's the intention behind the action.
Yes.
Like you're working, you are doing that, but it comes from a different place that feels authentic and liberating, and you can actually be more productive. But
Oh
now
yeah.
that productivity doesn't come from avoidance, it comes from a place of, I don't even like productivity. Like, it's like you are creating,
Like you're calling.
you're calling,
Yeah,
you're
I understand
being,
that.
you're being intentional with your time.
I like that. Yeah, it doesn't
I'm
feel like you're
intentional with everything I do. Yeah, I mean, productive is not about work, it's just what's behind that productivity. Because that's another addiction, workaholic.
true. But that's
Another
also like you said,
addiction.
running from something, filling some void. Yeah, because if you're
We're
pursuing your
always filling
calling,
that void. We're always trying to fill that void. With any type of addiction, pick your poison.
yeah, yeah, that makes sense. That really does.
Food,
Huh.
sugar, alcohol, work. I
Makes
see it all the
sense.
time. People are just like an autopilot, and they're just like, oh, there's the weekend, I'm gonna drink, and I don't know. Like, it's like, where's your life going? Like,
Yeah, it's sad to see. But at least the work you're doing is making a difference, and I see the value for sure. It's
oh,
gonna help a
thank
lot of
you.
people.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I love, I have a deep, deep love for men. I know there's a lot of hate, and I don't like to use the word, but as a feminine, like as a female who have gone through the path, like I was very fortunate to come across men who have like beautiful heart, who have taught me so much, who have been mentors, who have been catalysts, who have been, and I could see when a man is truly connected to its inner fire with the truth. I mean, if we think about it, men come from women.
They do. They do.
Right?
Yeah.
Men
Yeah.
come from
That's
women,
true.
and so they always gonna need like that nurturing part of us. Like they always gonna gravitate to that. So it's like how we can make things work and how the roles can be clear. It's like as women, and probably there's a lot of fellows that are gonna focus in, on all high performing women too, because they're dealing with their own issues and this way like I'm better than you, and like for men, like I'm better
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
men, or let's drop the act. I mean, we all need each other.
Yes. 50-50.
We need each other, like it's
Absolutely.
it's just part of life. That's why we were
Complementing each
created, men
other.
and women, and then men and men too. I mean, which with their
Yeah.
energy doesn't
Exactly.
matter the physical. What I mean
Yeah.
is the
Yeah.
energetically. It's almost like we are here for something and to create too, and that's life. Like it's constant creation. Like
I like
imagine if
that.
woman wouldn't give birth anymore, then everything will end.
That's true. No, yeah, very good examples that really put things in perspective.
You know, right?
No, that's true. That's
Yeah.
very
I
true.
mean, you guys are have deep behind all that. You guys are these boys, who haven't probably received much love and haven't been taught how to navigate certain things, and the way to cover it up is to stay strong and put this mask and like, oh, I got it all. And but behind that there's this boy who is like, oh, I want to be heard, I want to be seen, I want to be, you know um all
The
of
the,
that.
the
So
basics, the human needs.
the human needs, we're human beings, not human doings.
Yeah. No, that's true. Very
And that's
true.
what the code of being, is unlocking it and really connecting with your being. That's gonna be our superpower in this AI AI new world in a
Yeah,
sense.
the age of AI.
That's what is gonna make us different, like our being, like feeling.
No, I like that because I never thought about it in, you've shifted my perspective in so many ways. But in with the AI, and you're right, setting us up, being aware of ourselves and digging deep and finding our purpose and everything you said, that is gonna be what sets us apart. Instead of trying to feel different by, you know, like changing my body in crazy ways or dressing crazy, or it's just everyone is unique, and if you just embrace your inner uniqueness, there's no need for the external because you are special, you are different. uh
Right. And in the
yeah,
work
you're
that
right.
you do, right? Everybody's body is different. It's just so beautiful. Like it's not like each flower say, "Oh, you're pretty." They're all pretty, in their own
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I
the
agree.
same thing with the organs, right? It's the heart. Well, I'm more valuable than the kidney, or I'm not. It's like they don't fight like that. You know what I mean? But we do. Like we always competing, and
Yeah.
competition is a big masculine energy that now women do a lot of, and we need a balance. We need a balance, and so I think for men, it's just integrating now the feminine doesn't mean that you lose your masculinity. And that contrary, it allows you to become super like
The
powerful
balance. Yeah.
because you're integrating that part of you that now creates from a place of like no burnout, like I'm tired. No, you're energized. You are, more excited to eat better, to work out. Like
Yeah.
it just changes all around because now you're connected with that part of you.
That
Um,
makes sense. Your entire being instead of part of it.
yeah,
I like that.
yeah.
So many lessons. This
I
is
know
a
we
great
can talk for
episode.
ages for sure.
This is a great episode. what would you say for like for a final message? What would you want to share with viewers, those who not only a special message, but also where they can find you, and you know, your business, and I'll put everything in the at
Hmm.
the bottom as well.
You don't have to achieve, prove anything to know that you are worth it. You don't have to manufacture meaning. You are meaning just by existing. That's it. Like, there's nothing to prove and there's nothing to earn. When we come to that understanding that is about returning to who we are before the world told us who we should be, that's true freedom. That's true power, not from control. For liberation is that liberation, connection to your being, because being again is not, it's not a pause from doing.
I feel like you're speaking to me directly.
Okay.
No, I mean like you're
Yeah.
making me realize too. I thought I was very self-aware, but um, it's interesting to think deeper in certain areas on what you're speaking about. So it's very interesting
Mhm.
for sure.
Yeah,
Huh.
it's definitely, again, as I speak with you, there's things that I also receive. So thank you for this space, Jonathan, and for the work that you're doing. Because genuinely, like the energy, I'm very sensitive to energies. And you always have this kind heart. Like I feel it. You know, you
Thank
always
you.
always wanted to learn, always wanted to grow, always so curious, open, and you always been like that. So it's almost like we when the work that I do is also to in this world that is full of fear, and it's like how we can, as we come back to return to ourselves, we can be lighthouses for others.
True.
And you are a lighthouse. I'm a lighthouse. We need more lighthouses
Thank you. I
because
appreciate that.
and I'm that's for the father you were gonna be, the mother I'm gonna be if God and allow us to. But it's interesting because we think in a mass from an outside in. If we don't do the work, our kids are gonna pay. The
That's true.
generations who what are we how are we supporting this new generation?
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. If we don't do the work, our kids do carry that programming, that mindset, that all of that is
And why
true.
men too? I mean, I grew up with a father who was emotional absent. That's
Mm,
what I had a fear of abandonment, and I had to overcome it.
that's true.
How can I help every little child? If I can help men, to really reunite and integrate that part, they can be more present, they could be show that to their kids, and then they can grow also whole, like they can not feeling like they're not enough or they need to do something in order to receive our love.
Oh yeah, it's so common too. It's such a common thing that's ingrained in us. So it's I think what you're doing is amazing. Seriously, that's amazing. Very
Thank
good.
you, Jonathan. It really means a lot. This space
No,
is sacred.
absolutely. And I'm looking forward to getting this episode out because yeah, a lot of value. A lot of people will benefit from this for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, and actually, as we speak, I'm gonna be starting my YouTube channel. It's something I've been wanting to
Good.
do for a long time, and right now I'm more in LinkedIn. But I'll share all that information. I have a website, and I'll also
Okay.
share the landing, my where they could find they sign up for the mastermind. That's I'm always evolving, and eventually, my vision is to have more of a community. So I'm already on the works on that. And so, yeah, I
Awesome.
really genuinely. want this community because there are a lot of men that I have talked. It's just lonely. It's just not enough spaces where they can be authentic and be vulnerable
I
because
agree. I
yeah.
agree. Well, let me know, and I'll put all that information. This episode I'll get out most likely next week by next Friday.
Okay.
So I'll let you know before, and yeah, if you want to send me all of that, and I'll make sure everyone knows where to contact you, where to reach out. Um, Thank
Amazing.
you so much.
Thank you,
That was
Jonathan. It
awesome.
was a pleasure to talk to you. And yeah, we'll grab
Thank you.
coffee sometime soon. I want to hear also about your project, and I think it would be nice to collaborate.
Yeah, absolutely. That concludes episode 35.